The movie comes out on August 23rd, 2013. So, in a year and 2 weeks.
Okay, who's your favorite cast member so far?
I'm getting a lot of movie questions, which is fine. We just got casting news today, so it's exciting. I don't know if I have a favorite.
It should be Robert.
I love Robert. But yeah, I don't know. I feel worried. Like if I say I have a favorite, it'll get back to them and it'll be in trouble. There are some I've like never talked to at all or met. Like Aidan Herner, I've watched his readings and his talking to the director, but I've never actually talked to him. So I guess I would say Robert Sheehan because we've all been watching Misfits for like the past week. It's reawakened my love of Nathan. So yeah, I was really happy that they cast Robbie. I wanted them to cast him from the beginning, and we went through all. We couldn't get a Simon. It took forever. We went through all these different people, and they all like went and read with Lily, and she kept being like, not right, not Simon, not right. And finally, we got like the last four like of the best contenders. We flew them all to Toronto to read with her and Jamie, and then they both. Like, the casting director called me, and she was like, they like Robbie, and then I heard them come to the room behind her, and they're like, Robert, we want Robert Sheehan. We like him the best. And then Jamie said the background, he said, he's really good looking. I was like, okay. Glad you're happy. I was like, yeah, well, right on. I mean, he was the one that I wanted, so I was happy that he was the one that they wanted, and I'm really glad that they cast him.
I have a book-related question. Did you have the characters planned out, or did you have the story planned out first?
Usually start with characters. So I had kind of an idea of Clary, based on a friend of mine who's an artist, and an idea of Jace as kind of, and an idea of Simon kind of at the very, very beginning, and the other characters sort of filled in around them as I developed it. And then sort of the world building and the plot came after that. And when the plot went through many various, iterations before I settled on what exactly I wanted to write about. Yeah.
Who was your favorite character to write?
It's hard. Like, I mean, I love them all. They're like, children to me, the unpleasant ones. Bastion and Valentine and whatever, there's still a pleasure in writing them, even if I don't like them. But I guess I would say that Tessa and Simon are the most like me. And Magnus is the most fun to write.
I bet.
I'm also very happy about the Magnus casting. We'll find. I'm sure we can Google you a picture. Pretty hot. I rarely dream about my characters. I think I did twice. I have. Once we were all in line at the supermarket and they were ahead of me and they all had like way too many items in their carts and I was super angry. That didn't really develop into anything. What does happen is often in that like time period, like right before while you're sort of drifting off to sleep before you're exactly asleep, I get a lot of ideas, and the problem then is that I always think like, okay, yes, that's a great idea. I need to remember that. That'll fix that plot problem. And then in the morning I wake up and I'm like, I have no idea what it was. So I have solved it by keeping a notebook next to my bed and writing down the ideas when I have them, because if I don't, I will not remember them. Yeah.
So for the past 3 books, we've had oh my gosh, it's completely blank. The initials, DS blank S for the past 3 books, going in alphabetical order. So
yes.
It makes sense that they would continue with DS in Clockwork Princess and DS in City of Heavenly Fire. Yeah.
Yes. I'm really be in trouble when we get to like X, right? Okay, so I know this probably sounds completely inexplicable, but there's a scene in City of Fallen Angels with Clary and Jace that started to be called the Dirty Sexy Alley scene. So we're the DSAS for short. And then there was the DSBS, the Dirty Sexy Bedroom scene in Clockwork Prince, and the Dirty Sexy Club scene in in whatever that book was, City of Lost Souls. That's it. And so she's asking if there's a DS in Clockwork Princess. There actually is.
The best name I could come up with for dungeon and elevator.
Elevator! I don't know, but dungeon is correct. That was very good. Hopefully you will enjoy it. I mean, what else is there to do in a dungeon, really?
What was your favorite book to write?
It's really hard to say. My favorite book to write is almost always the book I'm working on right now because it's the book that has, unlimited potential. Like it could still be totally great. There's still, changes I could make to it that'll make it like the greatest book ever. And then, eventually you have to let it go and send it away and it becomes, the book that it is. And you can kind of see it for the things that you like about it and also for the things that are flawed about it. And then the next book comes along and is the book that has like unlimited potential. So Clockwork Princess is definitely my favorite book because that's the one that I'm working on right now.
I noticed in the series you use the word, I don't know how to pronounce it, Paratibai or something like that.
Sorry about that?
Yeah. Is that a language you came up with or was that a language that you discovered?
It's ancient Greek. It's and I cannot claim to be able to pronounce ancient Greek, so I am just winging it. But it comes from the phrase Tenokai Kai Parabatai, and it means charioteer and sideman. And I was doing a bunch of research when I was developing City of Bones on sort of battle formations and how they fought, because Shadowhunters don't fight with guns, they fight with weapons, and they use, old, very old weapons. They use, Greek and Roman weapons, and I figured that, they were great warriors. They would have learned a lot from them. So, while I was reading endless histories of various, Roman wars and whatnot, I came across the Hanokai Parabatai, and it talked about how you had a charioteer and you had the sideman, and you couldn't have one without the other. If one of them, was shot with an arrow and died, the other one couldn't drive the chariot alone. You needed them both. So it gave me the idea of, like, what if you have this unit of fighting warriors where you need both of them for it to work, and so it's a kind of thing that binds the two of them together, and they're stronger for being bound together, but they're also interdependent.
Would you like to be a Shadowhunter yourself?
I would not like to be a Shadowhunter. My lives are filled with danger and pain and love triangles, and I don't really want any of that stuff in my actual life. What's fun to read about is not necessarily fun to live. So yeah, no, I wouldn't really want to be a Shadowhunter.
How did you create the Shadowhunter world?
I mean, there wasn't like one single inspiration for creating the world. It was a whole bunch of different things that I liked. I mean, I called it kitchen sink fantasy because it was everything but the kitchen sink. You got fairies and demons and warlocks and werewolves and whatnot. I think it was two things. One was a friend of mine who had designed all these tattoos, the sort of rune tattoos, and she was telling me about the history of tattoos and how people had painted them on their bodies to protect them in battle. They believed it would make them stronger, slow blood loss, fix healing, all of that stuff. And I thought, well, what if there was a race of people for whom this really worked? And then also, there's a lot of urban fantasy, which I really love, that's based on folklore, and folklore is like stories of vampires and, werewolves and fairies, the kind of stories people tell each other. And then there's also mythology, which is stories of angels and demons and, the fall from grace, paradise lost, all of that. And I didn't see a lot of urban fantasy that was based on that, so I thought that it would be really fun to sort of create a magic system in which all of the folkloric creatures were explained by the existence of angels and demons. So just like fairies are half angel, half demon, warlocks are half human, half demon, all of the sort of downworlder races are explained by the existence